Hurrah.
Let's summon Skullface from the pages of his evil diary. The mask
cool.
hides my face, splashed with blood from a chainsaw.
This summer, evil gets butt dialed. They thought the nightmare was over, but it was just stuck on hold. Once again, Skullface is back. Again. Trapped inside a legally ambiguous streaming service. He's slashing his way back to reality, one thinly veiled reference at a time, featuring mostly all new mechanics, alongside all the old mechanics you know and love. Hundreds of brain-blasting puzzles that will make you say, "F*** this shit." Plus extremely violent minigames, brand new murderers, and exciting new ways to homicide. In the most violentest puzzle game ever made since the last one, Slayaway Camp 2. Coming soon to Steam.
What? Am I coming in? Can you guys hear me? Oh, look at this. Look at this. I got a Skullface hat. A little custom-made Skullface hat where I printed them out. I printed them out and put them on my hat. Oh my god. I am so... I don't know. It's sort of like, no matter how much time you have to prepare for a thing, it's never quite enough time, you know? And today is no exception. If this goes, if this comes apart at the seams, just know that it's in the script. I deliberately, for your entertainment, we deliberately scripted that to happen. You guys, hi, my name's Nate. I work at Blue Wizard Digital. I'm a game designer. I'm a creative director. I make sound. I make music. I make like voices. I do like crazy voices for the games and stuff. And what we're talking about right now, today on this special edition of a Steam stream coming to your dreams, it's this little homie right here, Skullface, in a brand new game called Slayaway Camp 2. That's what I'm here to talk about. We're broadcasting live on Steam. This is, I think it's playing at the top of the Steam page. Let me just look down. This is all. Oh yeah, there it is. So if you are looking at this from the Steam page, don't forget you can. There's like buttons down there that say something about grabbing the demo, because right now there's a free-to-play demo of the game on Steam. You can download it for free. You load it up on your Steam Deck or your Windows computer device, and you hit launch, hit the launch button, and you can play some Slayaway Camp 2, see what it's all about. And if you're watching this, we're also broadcasting this to Twitch. And good heavens to Betsy, we're broadcasting this to the Blue Wizard Digital Twitch right now. And I see some familiar homies in there, like Lost the Avenger, got Sim, Quack, he's in the house, Mortal Mafia, oh my goodness gracious. But then you know what? I see some new friends in here, like Viper Sniper? What? Oh my god, coolest name ever. Otto Yo Yeah. Don't know how to pronounce some of these names. Just keep in mind, I love you guys. Keke Genkai? QZ Salty? Alright, you guys. I am so happy that you are hanging out with me. Oh, Menno's here. What the freak? What the freaking heck? Oh, can I swear on this? Because this is a adult-rated game because of all the killing and slaughter. I'm gonna try and keep it low key. Oh, I even see Blue Wizard Digital in the chat. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, let me keep going with what I'm talking about, because this is broadcasting on the top of the Steam page, but it's also broadcasting on Twitch, and it's also on my YouTube. So if you're seeing it on the YouTube channel, it's just because some shenanigans with the way that my Streamlabs desktop computer application was set up, and don't worry too much about it, okay? Don't worry too much about it. But if you are not watching this on Steam, be sure to go to slaywaycamp2.com. I didn't put that on the window anywhere, but if you go to slaywaycamp2.com, you'll see there's a little widget that you can wish list the game, and this is very important, because if you play the demo, that's one thing. But what we want to know, and what Steam wants to know, is if you want to actually own this game for your very own video game collection, what you want to do is you want to hit that wish list button. I'm gonna try and hypnotize you now. Let's go to the murder cam, where I can try and hypnotize you into adding this game to your Steam wish list. You're getting very sleepy. You're getting very relaxed. Close your eyes. Feel the weight of your eyelids fall as the delicate lashes from your top eyelid tickle your bottom eyelid. Now you are going into a deep and effortless slumber. Now head on over to the Steam page, because here you can wishlist the game. And when you do that, Steam will be like, oh, what the Judd? These guys mean serious business. Look at all these people that wishlist their game. Oh, we're gonna put this game on the front page, and that'll be real cool. So make sure you do that, okay? Now, when I snap my fingers, you're gonna wake up and wishlist the game. On the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. I can't believe we're already 13 minutes into this, and what has been accomplished? What has been accomplished? We saw the Slayaway Camp 2 trailer. That was pretty cool. So you can kind of see what it's all about. You got the Steam page that's showing you some screenshots of the game in action. But I think we should really get down into some nitty-gritty, maybe gameplay. I should get into some gameplay. But before I do that, I see someone has popped in the old chat box on the Steam page. Homie Angel Blue says, "Hi, period, hello, period. I just learned that there will be a Slayaway Camp 2. will you be releasing the game on GOG, Good Old Games, at the same time as the first game on Steam? I'd love to see it released on Good Old Games, GOG. That's a great question. We currently do not have an announcement for releasing the game on GOG. As of right now, we're going to be dropping it on... As of right now, this isn't... Okay, does this sound like I'm backpedaling? Maybe it does. No, I think we love GOG. I think what you have to do is you submit your game to GOG, and we're in the process of doing that. And then they will be like, I think there's like a guy with a cigar. He's like sitting there and he's like, yep. And then we're good to go. Good to GOG. GOG. So yeah, that's it would be great. Yeah, the more the merrier. So this is the dev stream. What we're going to be doing is playing the game. I also have a very special guest, which is... Why is my audio? One second, you guys. I noticed this before. Hold on 1 second here. Check. Seems like my audio is quieter than it's supposed to be, you know? What's the deal? Is my audio coming in okay? Is it correct? Does it sound acceptable for me to continue with this insanity? Okay, let's fix that. Music is a bit loud. Let's drop the music down. I'm gonna drop the music down, and we're gonna bump up the output gain a smidge. I like doing things pretty much by the smidge. So if I do this, is this maybe a little bit better? Let me know. If this is coming out all right, then I think we're good to go. If a smidge was not enough, well, then I don't know what to tell you. I think a smidge was enough, though. Sweet. Okay. Now we're talking the real language. Okay, yeah, huge thanks for everyone who's hanging out, both on Twitch, over on YouTube, and then also in the live chat on the Steam page. Yeah, big ups. If you guys have any questions while this madness is going on, don't forget to pop it into, you could throw it in the Twitch chat, or you could throw it in the chat on Steam. If you've got questions about game development in general, or you have questions about Slayaway Camp 2, or questions about why I've got like origami boats on my shirt. If you're curious about that, just pop it in the chat, and if I see that question, I can make sure it gets answered. So, but I think we need to talk about Slayaway Camp 2. And before I do that, or while I do that, I want to show some stuff. Let's show some stuff about Slayaway Camp 2. And when I say stuff, I mean stuff like artwork. Slayaway Camp 2 is based on a game called Slayaway Camp 1, which features Skullface, this homie right here, who is sort of like a parody / Mr. Silly from... Here, let me do this. That way I can at least talk while you got some visual candy in there. Skullface is basically he's a murderer. He's a murderer from a stereotypical 1980s horror movie. Hey, there's Jessi. Sorry, I didn't realize you're gonna pop in there too. Let's just. That was a special hint at our special guest that we're gonna have very soon. I didn't want to. Hopefully, I didn't. I didn't realize she was gonna pop up, but there she is. Skullface, he's a murderer. He went on a murder spree through a bunch of VHS tapes in Slayaway Camp 1. Somehow, people got footage of this, and they released these horror movies featuring Skullface and all his various shapes and forms and friends, the different killer skins. And essentially, Slayaway Camp is a puzzle game where you're moving around a level, usually a one-screen level in Slayaway Camp 1. But in Slayaway Camp 2, we've got various sized levels, especially like big multi-screen levels. And you're basically pushing blocks around, you're scaring victims around the level. And the idea is it's like a sliding block logic puzzle, similar to something like Sokoban or sort of like a Legend of Zelda, ice puzzle or a Pokemon ice puzzle, where you're moving around a level and trying to figure out how to push the blocks and hit the switches and all that kind of stuff. But instead of blocks and switches, or in addition to blocks and switches, there's also victims, campers that are running around, and the whole point of your existence is to just slaughter them. So basically making this the bloodiest, most gruesome, yet obviously cutest puzzle game ever made. That deserved a drink of water. So yeah, you're really we're really leaning into the silliness of 1980s horror movies and like sort of the campiness of the horror movie genre. And there's a lot of references in Slayaway Camp 1, a lot of references that we made in both the kill animations and the killers and the movie names and stuff like that. And then that has not changed one bit in Slayaway Camp 2, because we've got essentially just, buttloads more hilarious references, buttloads more awesome looking killers. And let me just give you a little taste. Let me just give you a little taste of what I'm talking about here. If I flip on over to this screen right here, let's see if this works. Okay, I don't know why that's there. Let's get that out of there. So here we're looking at some of the movies that are in Slayaway Camp 2, because essentially the story of Slayaway Camp 2 is Skullface gets, let's see if I can break this down. It was in the intro. If we go back to this one, some kids are out in the woods. They're reading Skullface's diary to summon him. Of course, they don't have Skullface's actual physical diary. They've got a PDF ebook version of it on their phone. So they're going to read from that. And lo and behold, out from the trees pops Skullface. They summoned him successfully. And of course, now they summoned a murderer. So he is going to hunt them down through the woods and kill them in gruesome fashion. And so basically, yeah, you're playing as the killer, Skullface, and you're manipulating yourself through these puzzles one block at a time, or one space at a time. And then eventually gets to this other guy, and this guy knows that if he needs to unsummon Skullface, all he needs to do is read from his diary backwards, and that will basically trap him back into his diary for some reason. Because that's kind of like how horror movies work. So he reads from his phone backwards, and Skullface, lo and behold, gets trapped in his phone. And I think as he's getting sucked into the phone, he happens to swipe up against the app screen and selects the interface, or selects the app for TerrorTube, which is a completely legal reimagining of a nondescript streaming platform one might be familiar with this day and age. And so Skullface gets trapped in the streaming service, and then now he's basically running rampant through the different movies and TV shows that exist on the streaming service. And when I talk about different movies and TV shows, this is where all the
Let's summon Skullface.
Oh, sorry about that. this is where all the references start to come into play, where we've got, different, basically different movies. These are designed by Warren on the team, who is the illustrator and UI designer. And basically, yeah, there's just a ton of these different hilarious references to, some of them are quite veiled. Meatball Storm, I don't know if, doesn't look too cloudy, but there's definitely a chance of meatballs there. Don't Go in the Basement, Skeleton Crew, Slime After Time, Droid Rage. These are all just ridiculously hilarious settings for slaughter that Skullface goes rampant through the game. And let's go back on to here. I feel like I'm all over the place, guys. I was just at the Guerrilla Collective was working with homies from The Mix to do a live showcase. There was an online showcase for indie games, as well as a live in-person event in Los Angeles. And this was just this weekend. This was just Friday night. So I flew out. Oh, sorry. Yes. Blue Wizard just asking me to unmute myself. Yes, sorry. Jessi should be able to hear me now. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, The Mix. So basically, it was in Los Angeles Friday night. It was a crazy event. Tons of awesome people there. Met a ton of people. They came over and played the game. And we had lots of laughs and silly times, and then basically wrapped up around 10 o'clock, and I was kind of back at my hotel by midnight, and had to be at the airport at, I had to leave for the airport at like 2, so I literally got 2 hours of sleep, and didn't sleep all day until I got back home. So I was up for a long time. I had 2 hours of sleep. I think I'm still kind of catching up from that right now. And my whole, it does feel a little bit like reality is like, this music kind of sums it all up. And sort of like coming apart, like curtains in the cosmos. This is the Slayaway Camp 2 soundtrack. Okay, so forgiving the scatteredness, I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put some of this onto a good friend and the incredible developer of the puzzles in Slayaway Camp 1, in Friday the 13th, and in Slayaway Camp 2. She's designed so many puzzles based around killing teenage campers that I don't even know what to say. I mean, the puzzles in Slayaway Camp 2 are they're just mind-blowing, and I think we're gonna invite Jessi to join up on this stream right now. And if she's got I don't know if she can hear me, but we summoned her. Jessi!
You did it.
How's it going? I was floundering so hard to keep like a straight train of thought and then make sure that I was like actually giving decent information. I think things will probably smooth out a little bit now that you're here, because you kind of like, you ground me in a way.
Yeah, I'm really tired, so I hope you're not expecting like a lot.
No. I mean, yeah, you saw the first 30 minutes, so
I did, yeah.
There's zero expectations. Yeah, I think I'm very grateful for you to join up today, and I'm so happy to have you in the chat. And I think people would be super, blessed, honestly, to know some of what goes on in your brains. And we could chat about the development of the puzzles, as well as some of the different mechanics and stuff that are in the game, and yeah, just kind of let's just hang out, you know. Well, if that's okay with you.
I mean, I guess you're paying me, so yeah.
Would you do it if there was no money involved?
Probably,
Okay.
but less likely.
Right. And the quality would be probably worse.
Yeah, I mean the quality's gonna be bad regardless.
Okay. Well, we'll base the tip. Yeah, we'll base the tip on how it goes.
Sweet. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thanks for I guess joining. And I think I was wondering, we tried this last stream where I kind of had Slayaway Camp open, and I was playing through it, and then we can kind of talk about it while we go. If we run into any issues, I could always just sort of panic and switch back over to a video feed. But let's try and do a thing.
Okay, do that.
Okay, if I do this, and then I just go like this. Oh.
I know. Let someone Skullface from the pages of his evil diary.
Yeah, it's all coming unbuckled.
Let someone Skullface from the pages of his PDF on my phone.
Okay, what I need is to grab this one and place it
What if this actually works?
on here.
Buddy, I'll just read it backwards to unsummon
Oh,
him.
look at this.
Okay.
Is it happening?
What the?
Okay, so like I was saying before, so here's the intro of the game. You're basically given the ability to play as. Oh, I should move myself out of the way because you can't see Jack. So this is kind of just teaching you how to move around in the game. You're kind of as fans of Slayaway Camp 1 might notice, there isn't really the whole thing where you tap left or you do whatever, you hit that left button on your controller and you keep moving all the way until you bump into something. So Slayaway Camp 1, the puzzles were basically designed to be essentially fully sliding block puzzles where you would just keep moving until you bump into something. And one of the biggest changes that we made in Slayaway Camp 2 was that you can move one space at a time, meaning you can basically choose wherever you want to go and walk right up to campers and kill them. Did you now Jessi, were you afraid of switching the game to go from full movement across the level into just single space movement? How do you feel about that, or how did you feel about that?
So initially I was concerned. I did think it would be super lame, because it kind of took away the main mechanic of Slayaway, which was the sliding. But actually, it opened up a lot of possibilities for what you could do with the puzzles. So I did, once you kind of got used to it and kind of embraced that mechanic, I did think it was pretty cool.
Nice. How long did it take, like, before you realized that it was actually like puzzle worthy? Like, was it the kind of thing where it took a while to get into?
Yeah, I think so, because we did a lot of tests and experimentations at the beginning, and a lot of the puzzles, they just didn't really work out, because I think we were trying to kind of force it to be something that it wasn't at the beginning. Like, we wanted it to be kind of like Slayaway 1, and we weren't really kind of embracing the single tile movement.
Mm-hmm.
So once we kind of, accepted that, this is a different mechanic and we have to think about it differently, then I think that's when, like, a lot more possibilities opened up.
Sweet. Is from like a philosophical point of view, do you think the puzzle, like the difference between the movement, changes the way that the puzzles work and feel quite a bit?
So actually, no. A lot of the logic is still very similar. And besides the player, much of the mechanics in game, such as the victims running, we have boulders that you can push. It follows the same logic that Slayaway 1 did, where it moves until it hits something. So a lot of the puzzle logic is very similar to Slayaway 1.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was actually personally I was quite blown away at playing. I think yeah, we had worked together on Slashy Camp, which was how do I explain Slashy Camp? It was basically like a reimagining of Slayaway Camp that I did for sort of a smaller mobile project, in which I was trying to sort of I guess cross or remix Slayaway Camp into something like Crossy Road. So it was basically like um, I don't want to spend time trying to pull up footage of it or whatever, but maybe I should. Maybe I should.
Yeah, do it. We got time.
We got time, you know? So Slashy Camp was, it started as primarily a mobile game. I think you can play it online right now if you go to the Blue Wizard digital website. Um, so bluewizard.com. But so let me just pull, I'll just give you a little taste of Slashy Camp. So yeah, this was kind of, I would say, the origins of where we kind of had the idea to do this single space movement.
No!
So yeah, it's a lot more fast paced. I think for Slashy Camp, you had designed a lot of the chunks. I think I'd done a few to kind of test the proof of concept a bit, but then you had done a lot more I would say more puzzle, you know, light puzzle based type chunks that you could play through. But it was yeah, it was a lot more geared to being sort of a fast paced, high score game. So nothing was ever, you know, super challenging to the point of like you had to like sit and puzzle something out for, you know, 20 minutes or something like that, because pretty much the screen was scrolling up slowly the whole time that you're playing. So you basically, you know, speed is the essence of mystery, and mystery is the power of love. So yeah, that was Slashy Camp. I hope to God that the suggested videos that came up after that were all decent. Yeah. uh, so Slashy Camp was cool. And then we kind of thought, hey, maybe we could make a puzzle game with that same mechanic of the single space, because I think the one thing that pretty much everyone agreed on was, even though it was quite different from Slayaway Camp 1, it kind of felt more natural, honestly. I think there were quite a few people, or we got quite a bit of feedback from Slayaway Camp 1 from people who were kind of, I don't want to say like frustrated, but definitely kind of maybe confused by the fact that you would keep moving until you bump into something. And, you know, they kind of wanted the ability to just go wherever they wanted, one space at a time, and were, you know, wished they could stop halfway to like actually kill the teenager that they passed by on the way. So yeah, it kind of felt like more natural in a way, and so to go with that style of movement for the puzzles it started off as an interesting experiment, and then yeah, like you say, I think with your initial actual puzzle designs, it felt really good, and it started to show a lot of promise in terms of like you know, what could be done and how it would feel. Let's see, how can I make this into a question? Um, do you actually, in your words, what are some of the mechanics that you enjoyed bringing into Slayaway Camp 2 that were basically Slayaway Camp 1 mechanics that you felt actually worked well with this single space movement?
So bringing back the old mechanic, let me think. Things like, what mechanics did we bring back?
I think well, I guess yeah, so like you said, I think the victims running was core. Like
Yeah.
that was key for sure.
The victim escaping has a lot more emphasis in Slayaway too. And that's something that, because you can approach the victims from any side anytime you want, the level design is much heavily kind of geared towards preventing victims from escaping, whereas this wasn't something that we really got to utilize much in Slayaway 1 because of the more limited like puzzle design.
Right. Yeah, and it was actually it was such a it was almost like a minor mechanic. Like there were some levels that had like an exit to the point where it was like highlighted where the exit was, and you had to try to make sure to not scare them out of the exit. But yeah, it almost seems the opposite, where Slayaway Camp 2, that's kind of like the default way you can fail a level is by victims running away, which I don't know. I think that feels a lot better for the like the theme and everything as well too, because it's, you know, that you are a murderer, you are a masked murderer. What else did we bring over? Wildlife.
Yeah, that's actually something that works really well with the escape mechanic as well. Because again, this wasn't really something that we did in Slayaway 1, but in Slayaway 2, you can scare the wildlife off of the screen. And one that was actually a game over for some reason.
Right, I remember having to come up with like we came up with some silly reason why scaring a cat away would be a game
It
over.
was, yeah, it was because it ran into traffic. But we never said that or showed it.
Right.
So you just got a game over.
It was just, it was obvious. Yeah, we shouldn't have to say it, honestly.
It was intuitive. I think everyone knew
Yeah.
that's what happened. So, but yeah, this one, scaring the wildlife off, you know, the map is good because it's no longer in the way. So a lot of levels are designed around that as well, which is something, again, we couldn't do in Slayaway 1.
Nice. One of the things that I think we were super happy to lean all the way into was the fact that the entire game takes place inside of a streaming service for some reason. Obviously, Skullface getting pulled back into the phone. Something must have happened in the process of him, you know, getting back into the phone and loading up this streaming interface, where now Skullface is running rampant through all these different movies to try and basically kill his way out, I guess is the assumption.
Yeah,
But
makes
yes,
sense.
it's pretty silly, and I think the whole interface being kind of like selecting your movie and then selecting the you know, the episode. Good heavens, just have
Are you saying things?
it. I am. Can you hear me?
I can now, yeah.
Okay. I think I was maybe getting like covered up by just all the mayhem.
Oh, yeah.
Is it pretty loud on Google Meet?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the game kind of starts just showing you the mechanics of moving a single space at a time, and then it gets into this is probably one of the first levels where it starts to teach you that you know, letting the victims escape is a bad thing. Let me see if I can. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so that it's not cut off as much. Letting the victims escape is a bad thing, and basically leads to the fail of the level. So that kind of teaches you to come around the back way. So there's if I try to just approach the victim and kill them by standing next to them. And actually, when I was in Los Angeles, it was surprising. I think this was a good intro level to that whole concept because there was quite a few people, and I remember this was even me the first time I played this level, where they tried this angle, and then they tried this angle, and then they tried bumping into this backpack and this canoe, and they didn't know how to kill this poor camper. And then of course, Slayaway Camp being a puzzle game, and basically your ability at the game being limited by your powers of perception. As soon as they realized that all they had to do was go down, it was like a complete, like the light bulb went off. And I think that really kind of sets the tone for that I guess like that vibe of how the game is played, where sometimes you might spend a couple minutes just staring at the screen with nothing really happening, trying to, puzzle out, how to solve it. When it comes to designing these kind of things, like how much of your time is spent just staring at the screen versus like, are you trying stuff out over and over, or are you like how much of it is conceptual versus, actually tangible stuff?
I pretty much am always doing something. Because I'll make part of the level, and then, I'll boot it up and test it, and then, make a change, test it again, make a change, test it again. There isn't a lot of downtime with designing it.
And when you say that, like downtime, what would be downtime? What would be considered downtime?
I guess just thinking,
right,
and not actively clicking buttons.
Right, it's just easier to kind of get to a solution. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it's easier to, you can sit there and you can design the whole thing without ever playtesting it, but it's a lot easier to just go back and forth. Because usually, I would have a goal in mind, like, like Skullface has to kill the victim, whatever at the end.
Yeah.
And then, you test it to make sure that works. You're like, okay, but now we need to add, an obstacle of some kind. So you add that in, test it, and then add in something else and test it, and so on and so on. And also, because the levels are so much more open now, because of the single tile movement, it's a lot easier to find exploits.
And so explain what an exploit is.
Basically, being able to solve the puzzle in a way that's not intended.
Right.
So, like, you can design this whole intricate puzzle, but if the player can just, take 2 steps to the left and then just kill the victim and bypass the whole thing, then you have to kind of account for that.
Right. And how would you account for it? Like, how do you like prevent that kind of thing when it's essentially like a player could move wherever?
There's some different things. One like easy thing, you can just add an obstacle like a fire, water, a mine, just so the player can't walk in that space. Sometimes it gets more complicated because the player needs to be able to walk in that place, and so you have to say, look, okay, so if he walks in the space, something bad happens that will then prevent him from being able to complete the level.
Right.
And then depending on how complex the level is, that can get fairly extravagant, I guess. It can take hours to kind of account for all those situations.
Right, because it kind of feels like every single time you add even a single block, you kind of need to go through all possibilities again to make sure that block didn't screw some other aspect of the puzzle out.
Yeah, exactly.
I see Sim. What up, Sim on Twitch? Is shouting a battle cry to get the where that killer fridge at. So if you're a fan of Slayaway Camp 1, you know that there was a silly little killer known as the Killer Fridge. And they did in fact make a return to Slayaway Camp 2. So here's the tutorial level that you can play to kind of learn the mechanics of Slayaway, and you get to play as the fridge. And if you finish this tutorial, well, buddy, you get the fridge. Really like the insinuating that the fridge is probably possessed by some sort of a spirit demon or something like that, because obviously it's not powered at this point. I think they're still one of my favorite characters for sure.
No, Fridge is just objectively the best character.
So something that I kind of missed was when after I killed that victim, there was a grass tuft, and I think buried in the grass tuft was a machete. You pick up the machete if you're playing as a slasher classed killer, and I'll get to that in a second. But slasher. Oh my god. Okay, 1 second. Slasher classed killers. Say that 10 times fast, I dare you. Okay, you don't have to.
No.
That's fair. It's fair of you to not do that. They get mini games, and I just horribly failed that one. I think the mini games in the demo are are slightly harder than easy at this point, just because we wanted it to be something that wasn't just so that you knew that they would get harder, because you're not actually getting the full scope of the game. So yeah, we unlocked just for SimSim. We unlocked the killer class, Killer Fridge. The killer class, the slasher class, Killer Fridge class, Killer Fridge.
Fridge.
Yeah. And when I say class, all the killers in Slayaway Camp 2 have a class assigned to them, and there's 5 different classes. Obviously, slashers is the one that you start with. Skullface is the classic slasher. Killer Fridge, I think his mom's in there. Robot police person, this very legally safe parody of some other kind of robot police person. Yeah, tons of references to. It's great that we don't have any of them unlocked, so I can't really show you how awesome they are. But they all belong to a class, and each one of these classes actually completely changes. Well, not completely changes, but they change the way that the game is played. So there's puzzles that are designed for each class specifically. The beasts, you get a special power that you can use that will essentially render all the victims and or cops and basically all the actors, all the living creatures on the level. It kind of scares them, and they go into like, bury their head in their hands, and they don't move anymore, so you can stand next to them and they won't run away. So it's sort of like a thing where you decide when you want to use this power, because it may lead to you being able to successfully or unsuccessfully solve the puzzle. Sorcerers are, so all the killers have the ability to just walk right up to somebody and kill them, or push a crate onto them, or roll a boulder, or scare them into the fire, or do all that kind of stuff. But then each killer also has these. Sorcerers can shoot out projectiles. So you could be kind of like across the water from a camper and shoot I think Push Pinhead will shoot out the puzzle Rubik's Cube, the mystical puzzle cube. Skullface 9000, I think, blasts some lasers. Yeah, and you can basically kill victims from afar, meaning, well, they're dead, and you don't get blood on you. Jessi, can you describe what happens when you play as a monster class killer?
So the monster, he can resurrect victims that he kills and turn them into zombies.
What does a zombie do?
So the zombie, when you approach the zombie, they do like a little fist bump. And that's it.
And then what if you like scare a victim towards that zombie?
Then I guess the zombie will eat the victim, which
All
is
right.
far less exciting than the fist bump.
The fist bump is definitely the real reason why you want to do that.
Yeah.
Do you have any levels that are just like designed around the fist bump?
I'm gonna say no, because the fist bump was not implemented when I made this level. I don't know if I've ever actually seen it.
Oh, really?
But I've been told that it's there.
Well, that's yeah. On launch day, we'll sit down and have a celebratory fist bump live stream where we'll just fist bump every zombie.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
And how about ghosts? What are ghosts all about?
Ghosts can pass through walls and obstacles, so they just don't care about the level at all. They just completely do what they want.
So here's a question for you. So this was kind of like a design decision that we had, because I think in the early days we were kind of talking about what would be possible, or what would it take to have basically a puzzle level that was a completely playable and still a puzzle with all different killer mechanics and killer classes being able to play that puzzle. And remind me, did we make any decisions on that front?
Yeah, we made a decision about that, and that was you ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
One, because it made those take like 10 times longer to design a level. Like we got like these 8 by 12 grids, and do you want to make it so that 5 completely different character classes can have like an equally good experience
Yeah.
on every single level? Which objectively makes no sense because no one's gonna play the level more than once.
Right. Right. No, and I think
So you
yeah,
made like 4 paths that no one will ever see.
right, exactly. No, and I think yeah,
Oh.
like weighing out the difficulty or the challenge of doing something like that versus the being able to have 5 completely different puzzles was definitely we went on the road of the having more puzzles than one puzzle that could be beat 5 different ways.
Yeah, so we could have 5 good puzzles or one like terrible one.
So yeah, so as you're unlocking these classes, basically, as you're playing through the game, you'll get to a level that requires a slasher class. So then you get to pick from one of the slashers that you have unlocked, and then you might the next level might require a beast, and then you get to pick from the beast characters that you have unlocked and that kind of thing. So, but I think another cool aspect of the game is let's see, how can I properly showcase this? Oh, we kind of missed when it happened, but after I finished, okay, so all the movies in Slayaway Camp, as you play them, they all start off with 1 star possible to unlock, meaning when you finish the level, you get a star for it, and then you move on to the next level, and then you get 1 star for that one, and then you carry on until you get to the last level of the movie, and you get the last star. And then it goes through a little sequence showing that multiple challenges were unlocked. And what that basically means is now each level that you just finished the 1 star version of has a variant, actually has 2 more variants of that level. And the variant can be anything from, like a repositioning of the element to give like a harder version of that same puzzle. Or, I mean, sometimes you went full, dare I say, basketballs to the wall, making like sometimes completely different versions of the puzzle, and or some storied versions of the puzzles. Am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah, sometimes there was like a light narrative going between all of them. It just depended how I felt that day.
I love it. Yeah, I think one of the things that people of the original Slayaway Camp, I think one of the things that until they kind of get into the game, they lament is the fact that they think that the ice, or sort of the sliding until you hit something mechanic, is gone, and now they have to sort of settle for these puzzles that are, I mean, in their ignorant minds. Just joking. That they have to settle for this subpar single-spaced movement. But I think the truth is, what's going on here? I think the truth is that we still have the sliding till you hit something mechanic, and it's actually themed as ice at this point. So I think one of the coolest things about Slayaway Camp 2 is that there are still a ton of ice puzzles, meaning there's a ton of puzzles where you hit right and you keep sliding until you bump into something. So pretty much the same as Slayaway Camp 1. But the fact that you can also, there's levels that have both. There's some levels that have, just a patch of ice. So you would, act like that just on the patch of ice, and then you can step onto solid ground and do some other stuff to reposition a crate or something like that, and then bring that back onto the ice and do your thing. So I think this is for lovers of Slayaway and people who are new to this style of puzzle or this genre. I think there's tons of content for both of those people, whether or not they're ignorant. So rude. It's just so freaking rude. What was I gonna say? Oh, the stars. Because when you're finishing the levels, you're also getting stars, right?
Is that a question?
Yeah,
Am I supposed to respond?
I'm
Yes,
gonna,
you get stars.
Jesse,
That's what
can
happens.
can you tell me what happens with those? What are those stars for? Why do I get stars?
That is how you unlock the next levels, Nate, by collecting
Oh,
stars.
I didn't know. It's been all this time, and I had no idea that's what the stars are for. I'm just joking. I knew what stars are for. We're just doing like a show. We're doing a show for you guys who are new to the game, and I don't really know any less awkward way to like talk about this stuff without actually just pretending we don't know and then asking the question about it. Maybe there is a
Awkward
lesson.
because we've already done this stream before.
That's the extra trippy part.
Yeah,
I'm like-
it's like I don't have the energy
I know.
to
It's like,
pretend a second time, so I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. I think we just need to like, yeah. So for anyone who's watching this stream right now, I mean, I hope you're enjoying it. If not, I mean, I can give you the reason why you're not. It's because we did a similar stream last week. We did a similar stream last week where we had similar conversations, and I asked pretty much the same questions that I asked, and honestly got a lot of the same answers. So,
Yeah, the answers didn't really change much in the span of a week, as it turns out.
yeah, they're still pretty much the same. Maybe what we can do, let's switch it up then. How about you ask me a question? That's something that we didn't do last week.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, so you can
Okay.
ask me any question.
What was your favorite part of development?
Oh, that is so easy to answer. That is so easy to answer. Do you want to know?
Yeah, I do. I want to know. Actually, no, I don't.
My favorite part of development was payday.
That's fair. Yeah, that was my favorite too. That was the best part.
No, but honestly, I think my favorite part of development was the working on the music. That's my favorite thing in the whole planet, and I'm super proud of the music that I did for Slayaway, because it's like weird and like kind of disturbing a little bit, and I'm like kind of moaning in some of it. It's like it's weird. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit so we can hear it a little bit better while I'm talking with it. But I have nothing else to say. I mean, honestly, the music was it was kind of inspired by a couple of the things that I wrote for Slayaway Camp 1, and just in terms of like, you know, this dark kind of trippy serial killer vibe, but then also with some like hip-hoppy beats. Yeah, I did the music primarily all by myself. Tainted Ace 66 is asking on Twitch. There are a couple tracks, actually Skullface's theme song, which is the song that we used for, I'm going to play it right here. So that's my guitar there. So we basically hired a guy on Fiverr to do that guitar solo, because there's no way in hell that I'd be able to play that. But I played a bad version of it. And that's not me. We hired an amazing metal singer, which of course now I can't remember his name and I don't have it written down. But I probably have a recording of me trying to sing that, because I needed to because I wrote the lyrics and then I tried to sing it so that I could show him like how I wanted it to sound. And my version was just is just horrible. But yeah, got like an actual guitar player, a metal guitar player, and a metal singer to accompany my beat on that song. And yeah, it all came together in like a couple days. It was hilarious. I think it's the only time I've ever written a heavy metal song. So the music.
Can we hear the bad version?
I mean, how about yes, but I need to track it down, and I don't want to spend time doing that right now. So basically,
Okay.
on the next stream, we're going to be doing another stream for Next Fest. And this one is going to be so deep in the weeds because there's going to be no way in hell that we're going to want to ask the same questions and give the same answers again. So we're just going to
Can we just show all the bad stuff?
yeah, let's just show all the crappy bugs, all the gifs that we put on Slack of showing hilarious things happening. I think I've got a folder full of that stuff. And
I got cut off from the bug reporting.
oh
so I
really?
can't-
Oh yeah, you got taken out. Yeah, no more.
I got taken out.
But yeah, so was it Thursday? We're doing another stream. Yeah,
Thursday is the next stream.
Perfect. So yeah, Thursday I'll have fully prepared my singing. Oh my god, it's gonna be so embarrassing. No one but that Fiverr guy was ever supposed to hear it.
No, the world needs to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
I need to hear it.
And even my guitar, even the guitar that I have, the guitarist, he was kind of I could tell he was kind of annoyed. It was all just email, but he's just well, I tried to match. I don't even know what key you're in. It's just I tried to match. I had to pitch yours up a bit to make it actually music.
I'm still looking forward to this.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so good, so good. Yeah, Sim, I don't think I can swear here. Maybe I can. I don't know. Can we swear here?
I mean, try it and see what happens.
All right. Well, shit.
God damn it.
Are we still? Is it still live now?
Maybe there's a 20-second delay. So.
Oh right. So yeah, we'll
Won't
basically
go
need to
for,
pull it down
20
in 20
seconds.
seconds or so. All right. So let's take a quick second to just shout out the fact that if I switch over to this camera, you're gonna see a little thing here. Because it's a call to action, and in the marketing world, that basically means it's kind of the reason we're doing this. Honestly, part of it is because we want to reach people who might be interested in this game, and talk a bit about the game and what it's all about. But the real meat of this is that you need to go to the Steam page. Remember, at the beginning I hypnotized people. I don't know if you saw that. But I was actually hypnotizing some people. So if anyone who has not yet been hypnotized, just go to the Steam page. If you're watching this on Steam, all you got to do is scroll down, and you'll see a add to your wish list. Let me just see. Is that a thing? I'm just gonna hide my. Oh my goodness. What's the easiest way to get at this? I think is to go to Slayawaycamp2.com. This is if you're watching on Twitch. So if you're watching on Twitch, you go to Slayawaycamp2.com and then just scroll down the page, and you'll see right below the trailer there's a wish list on Steam. Smash. Actually, no, don't smash. That's too violent. Tickle that button. Tickle that wish list button, and if you're already on the Steam page, you can scroll down and you'll see there's a little green bar. You can download the demo, so you can actually play the game right now while we're talking about it if you wanted to, or you just go a little bit further down and there's an add to your wish list, and that basically just means it's on your wish list, and you'll be notified when the game comes out. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. No money is required. It's a free transaction. Actually, it costs love. Let's see. Do I have any more questions for Jessi? Why are you so small on my thing right now?
That's just how big I am in person. I'm just very tiny.
Oh, I think it's because we were on the... Do you want me to leave you tiny? Just like a little...
So what I do is I actually move that part of the window off screen, because
Oh,
it
okay.
weirds me out.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I have no idea what it looks like.
It was just small. It's all good though. Okay, so I think we did the call to action, and we've got basically another 50 minutes to fill. So let's talk about Deathly Loves in the Twitch chat. How about let's go to Twitch and see if anyone has any questions. Actually, I think I see some questions, so let's scan through real quick. Oh my god. This is gonna take longer than I thought. Here, maybe let's just play I'm gonna play the trailer, and then while that trailer is playing, I'll scan the chat and pull out some questions. Let's do that. So then I'll have like a minute of trailer. Here we go, trailer time.
Let's summon Skullface from the pages of his evil diary. But the mask
cool.
hides my face, splashed with blood from a chainsaw.
This summer, evil gets butt dialed. They thought the nightmare was over, but it was just stuck on hold. Once again, Skullface is back. Again. Trapped inside a legally ambiguous streaming service. He's slashing his way back to reality, one thinly veiled reference at a time. Featuring mostly all new mechanics, alongside all the old mechanics you know and love. Hundreds of brain-blasting puzzles that will make you say, "F this shit." Plus extremely violent minigames, brand new murderers, and exciting new ways to homicide. In the most violentest puzzle game ever made since the last one. Slayaway Camp 2. Coming soon to Steam.
How was that? That was a trailer.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so there are some questions, and the first, probably the most important question, because I saw Sim was dropping it like 700 times in the Twitch chat, just spamming this question over and over again. So I think we need to pay it proper respect. So Sim is asking, Nate, you still never told me if there was the Konami code in the game or not. So Sim. Oh, and then he asked again, you never answered if there was the Konami code in the game. I said this on the last dev stream, and you said, I'm not going to answer that. And then has like an angry eyebrows with eyes and a frowny face, and I need to know, follows it right up with. So, yes, thank you for that question, Sim. Really appreciate you asking that. I think it's a great question. Obviously it means a lot to you, so you want that answer. So Tainted Ace 66 asks, did you do all the music yourself? And yeah, actually, I guess I did answer that because we started talking about the thing. And then yeah, I think that was pretty much it for questions. So not a lot of answers to give there. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, except for Sim, you can just leave those in the Twitch chat, or on the Twitch, or sorry, the Steam stream. And then I see Jessi raising her hand, so if she has a question.
I have questions.
Yeah, sure.
I want to know about the environmental sound effects.
Ooh. Actually, I want to talk to you about that and the music, honestly. Okay, so what's your question about the environmental sound effects?
Like, some of them are pretty disturbing. And I want to know what the process is like to make those.
That's interesting. Okay. Let's see if we can pull up an example to kind of explain what you're talking about here. I'm going to go to the murder cam real quick so you can't see my screen as I'm browsing around for files, but I'll be right back with the files. So yeah, so Jessi's asking about the environmental sound effects. So in addition to the music that is assigned to each level in the game, and sometimes it's random, and sometimes exclusively picked, I think, by Jessi. She picked from the available music tracks for which song she wanted to hear in a specific level. And I'm going to ask you about that because I was curious how you made those decisions. Because basically what I was doing was just writing songs and putting them in a folder and just assumed that they would be coming out randomly. But for the environmental stuff, we also had, if there was a level that was like next to a river, then you'd hear like a little babbling creek. Or if it was, here, if I load them up, I think then we'll be able to properly explain them. Here, I'm going to stop this music real quick. Oh, it's so quiet. So in the background, I think we can hear one of those environmental sound effects, which is, hold on, I'm going to turn it up.
I can't hear it. You're going to have to describe it for me.
Here, I'm going to turn the ambient sound effects all the way up. Can you hear the birds chirping?
I can't hear anything over here.
Right. I think only the stream would be able to hear it. Okay.
I can hear birds now.
Okay, well, in some of the levels, it would be like a forest background, and there'd be like wind blowing some leaves on the trees. There would be birds, or maybe if it was like a night scene, there would be crickets, an owl hooting in the background, and a lot of those came together from field recordings that people have made. Kind of like Creative Commons Zero is like like if you release something on through Creative Commons license, you're basically saying, here it is, internet, you can have it. Creative Commons Zero is basically just saying, like, I don't even care if you credit me. I don't even care if you use it. I don't ever want to know about it. Just do whatever you want with it. But I mean, I do have a log somewhere of the people that we've taken, because a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to environmental sound, there will be some dude with his field recorder just standing out in a field, like recording some wheat, or some chick will be standing in a subway station just recording people milling around, and then they'll just throw that on the internet. And there we go. So I think we've got one sound that's like inside of an airplane, and I think that might have just been straight up just a field recording. Actually, I think this one might have been one that I had from like, I can sometimes rip out audio from videos and stuff that I have. If I like, if I had like a video of me holding up my phone, recording outside the window of an airplane. There you go. There's the audio of what it sounds like being on an airplane. Beach. Sometimes there might be like a field recording of just waves. And depending on if it, like what I might do is like take the field recording of like, like waves, but it might just be straight up waves. There's no seagulls or anything in it, but I might want like, once every 30 seconds, a seagull to call. So I'll find a sound effect of a seagull, or actually just record literally a seagull if there's one around. There usually isn't, so I'll take one off the internet and mix that in. And a lot of when I'm mixing sounds, it's literally like a multi-track recorder. It's like a multi-track recorder showing, multiple layers of different sound effects, and you can basically put in each thing and sort of stack them up and then turn the volumes up and down depending on how you need them. Campfire, that's pretty easy. Okay, so here we're getting into like the actual interesting ones, like alien drone. So I think this was for something like the inside of a spaceship or something like that. And honestly, a lot of stuff like that just starts to come from, I've got like a setup of synthesizers and effects pedals and stuff like that. So you can actually start to make, See if I can actually get something coming. Hold on, this is gonna be very important. Okay, so say I wanted to have like say we had like a factory. Say we had like a weird you know, an evil metal smithing factory for some reason. So you'd want like some kind of like metal hits like that. I don't know if you can hear this on the Google Meet, Jessi.
No, but I'm imagining it
Here, I'll turn up
with my brain. It sounds cool.
Turn it up a bit so you can hear it on the speaker. But then you'd pitch the.
Now I just hear you like twice.
Okay.
It's okay, I remember them. I've listened to them many times.
So this would be like one layer of like building up some sort of a background sound. And usually like mic feedback and that kind of thing is all good stuff. So, long story short, is basically get some trippy sounds, slow them down until they're unrecognizable, make them backwards, and then run them through like 7 different guitar pedals until they're echoey and reverberated and weird. And then sometimes like get on the microphone and just do like. Yeah, Jess?
Can you talk about flies in a jar?
Yes, let's talk about flies in a jar. Let me just play it real quick. Okay, so there's a sound that I made for the environment called flies in a jar. Yeah, that's disturbing. So it's literally so I think some of these too are, I think I did a lot of the mixing for them in Fmod. Let me just, because I think the sound of flies in a jar just on its own might not be as cool as what it ended up being in the actual Fmod setup. So let me just load that up real quick. Because Fmod is also what I use to do a lot of the music mixing and sound effect mixing. So basically, if we go into environmental flies in a jar. Was there flies in a jar, or didn't I call it giant flies on Jupiter?
That was a different one. There was 2.
There's flies on a jar. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay, so flies in a jar is literally just. It's a recording of flies in a jar. Banging against the lid of the jar.
Is it like real flies in a jar?
It is real flies in a jar, yeah.
It's just not just what you imagine flies in a jar might sound like.
No, it's like actual literal flies in a jar. And the
Are
reason
they your flies? You have to catch them?
Yeah. The reason the flies in the jar existed in the first place is because I did want to have giant flies on Jupiter. Which, oh, actually, you're not going to be able to. Hold on, let me double check that you can hear this. I think I might have to make sure this is routed up properly. Fmod Studio. Okay, so here's giant flies on Jupiter. So, oh God, it's so good. So it has like this weird kind of thing. I mixed the sound of Hell Fridge, which was like a pitch down like old fridge radiator sound effect that I got, mixed with the flies in a jar pitched down, so they're like these like these giant wings, and then this like hellish drone sound that was pitched down, and then super echo attached to the whole thing, so it's like this creepy. Good God. So yeah, like in with the music would be this these drones, and I wanted to make as many of them as possible because Jessi, as the puzzle designer, you did an amazing job assigning these things to the levels. Is there any like favorites that you can remember?
Flies in a jar. Is it technically the best one?
All right.
Like, I'm sure there were others, but
all right. What about music?
Even bother remembering?
Did you have like a go-to song that you enjoyed assigning? Like like an actual like background music song?
So most of the time I left those random, except for if there was like a special level that had a certain vibe or it was more important than the other levels. Or the snowy levels, because I did like the ice crystal environmental effect, the snowy crystal one. But it didn't go with a lot of music.
Okay, you kind of like left it to random.
Yeah, for the most part.
Makes me wonder if I should have had more like non-music. If that makes sense.
Like
I guess
ambient.
Yeah, like I guess there was still a bunch of stuff that I kind of carried over from Slayaway 1 and like did like remixes of it or like just different versions, but yeah, just more subdued stuff that you could have assigned so that no beats would play over top.
But I like the beats.
Yeah, I like the beats.
It's fun.
I like them beats. Let's see if there's any other questions. Nate, can we... Oh, wait. Actually, I saw a Jessi question. Simpson asks, Jessi, what was your thought process behind the puzzle making? Like, was it meant for seasoned puzzled players or new puzzle game players? Actually, yeah, this was a question that I asked you last time we did the stream. So this is we should touch on this.
So, did you have a question?
No, go ahead.
So the game is designed so that people who have no experience whatsoever can jump in and then learn the mechanics that they need. It's also kind of flexible in that there are challenge levels for more seasoned, players, if they choose to play them. So we do have the challenge levels that are a more kind of like generally more difficult experience, but they're mostly optional. Or you might only have to play a couple of them to get the stars that you need. And then there's DLC that tend to be for more seasoned players, intended for people who have kind of played the main game already. Right. So to answer the question, it starts off with newer players in mind, but with an optional experience for more seasoned players.
Yeah, I think it gets pretty quickly into, because like I was saying, if you finish all those first 1-star puzzles, if you're a seasoned player, pretty much right away you'll be able to play harder versions of the puzzles. And even I think there's in that first movie there's some like ice puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, it will be a super season like Slayaway or private team players. It might be a little too easy initially, getting through the tutorial levels, but once you get through them, I think it opens up quite a bit.
That's actually something that I've been thinking about, even especially since being at that event over the weekend, seeing people play. I think one, oh man, I can't remember his name now. A super cool guy though, but he stood and played the demo start to finish. He made sure to play every single level and got like the congratulations on finishing the demo. Like he did that while he was at the event, and I think we've got like a good 40. He was pretty quick at some of it. I think he played Slayaway 1, so he was familiar with, who's familiar with Slayaway 1. And it took him about 40 minutes, I think. But I think if you're not familiar with Slayaway 1, or you're just not as logically minded like me, that was like a nice way of saying that if you're dumb like me, it probably is like a 40 to 50 minute demo. There's a couple levels, especially as we start showing off some of the later content, where some of the things might be a little bit tricky to kind of grasp at first glance. But it was tricky. It was like a hard, it made me wonder, like, is the demo too long? Did we have too much content? Did we show too much in the demo? But at the same time, we really wanted to make sure that people knew that it wasn't just these, especially if you're coming from Slayaway Camp 1 and you kind of make this assumption that the single space movement, it is easier, or it makes all the puzzles are going to be easier because of it. I think if you start to play some of the later puzzles, you start to realize how complicated and in-depth they can actually get. Actually, you know what? I think one of my favorite mechanics that we introduced since Slayaway 1 is the fact that there's multi-screen puzzles. Actually, let me... Oh, I think...
Need more stars.
Wait, which level is it again? The first one?
Prison bake.
Right. Okay, so let's do that. So the multi-screen puzzles, meaning basically you go to the edge of the screen and all of a sudden now you're in a different screen with completely different stuff. Did you find those puzzles were they fun to make? Were they hell to make? Because all of a sudden,
some of them were hell, but that was the intention.
Right.
Actually, no, they're good enough to make because it's quite a deviation from like the normal puzzles.
Right.
You can do a lot of different things that you couldn't do before. They weren't too difficult because you could kind of cut off access to the different screens. It wasn't so enormous that you couldn't account for everyone's like player actions.
What about like when it came to, I guess, finding bugs or hold on, sorry. When it came to finding bugs or those like exploits and stuff like that, like how complicated did it get with multi-screen puzzles?
Honestly, it wasn't much more difficult than, like, say if a puzzle had 2 screens, it was kind of like testing 2 different puzzles.
Okay.
Because again, they were segmented. The ice ones were probably the most difficult because you can like slide from like one thing like all the way to like the end of the next screen.
Right.
And those ones could get quite complicated. But the regular ones, they tend to be segmented. So you kind of did each section in series.
Were there a lot of puzzles that kind of carried, or that you kind of needed to be bringing things in between multiple screens or different screens or setting something up? Like,
yeah, and you'll see that kind of in the Prison Bake one, where you have to bring a crate the very beginning all the way to the very end. For testing, it's not, it's kind of like you do one section, and you do the next section, and you do the next section, so you can just like put a crate in the thing.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't really like a problem for testing. I didn't really make it. There are some puzzles where you have to go back and forth between them, but we tried to avoid that because it becomes frustrating if you like forgot to kill a victim in like the first map, and then you like got all the way to the end and you don't know like why it's not finishing.
I think I might have I wasn't paying attention. I don't know if I actually did that mini game or not. I thought I did. So yeah, I think I want to take a second to shout out the devs, honestly, because the team that made this game, I don't know why is that not giving me the
star?
It didn't give me the star.
Did you already have the star?
Oh, are you serious? Am I just like not? No, like I thought the machete would fill in when I got it. But let's shout out the devs. So obviously oh geez. Okay, I can't play puzzles and talk at the same time. I think that's the problem. I'm gonna switch over to let's switch over to this video version of the game. Because talking about the devs, Jessi, your role was what did you do on the game? What was your role?
I made puzzles.
And is that it?
I also tested the puzzles. I also helped out with some, what did I do? I made some special effects. I made some birds.
Oh,
I made some fish.
Yeah, and interactive environment type stuff.
Some fireflies.
Yeah, so I think that stuff is undeniably the Slayaway Camp charm. I think we had some of that stuff in Slayaway 1, but yeah, it was important to have those silly little the birds that would fly away when you get close, or the fireflies. It adds so much environment to so much just vibes to the levels. And I think a lot of the vibes came from Quinn. You would kind of design up these puzzles that were, maybe you had a theme in mind, or maybe it was just sort of like this is like a cool mechanic or interplay of mechanic, but we kind of had a rough idea of where it would go, or what style of movie it would be in, or whatever. And I think Quinn would take it to the next step and actually, put literally design models that are going to be like the decorations, like the furniture or the things that are all over the forest floor. I think Quinn and Katie both had done some models for that kind of stuff, and then Quinn went in and did like the full-on environmental art and decoration pass on all the levels. And I think working with Quinn, and then also Adam DeGrandis, which was the art director on Monsters Expedition, which was another puzzle game similar in style to Slayaway, in that you're sort of like a cartoony little dude, I think a cartoony little Sasquatch, and you're sort of rolling logs around and solving puzzles that way. We were able to convince him to come give us a hand and help us get us set up with our art style. And Adam had worked with Quinn before. Adam's actually a teacher, and Quinn was one of his students. So they had kind of like figured out how we're going to do the art style, and from a technical point of view, and helped get set up with the shaders and everything. And big ups to Quinn and Adam for helping make the game look super good and look kind of like how we had it designed in our mock-ups and that kind of stuff. And then obviously I did that showcase. Let's see which. I did that showcase of some of the movie box art. This is all stuff that Warren had done. Warren was the UI and UX designer, so basically he thought a lot about how the game would be played, and how you would load up levels, and how you would choose your killers and interact with everything, and came up with just amazing. Obviously we were using some random streaming service as inspiration. I don't know, none in particular, but we were looking at streaming services and obviously trying to pay homage to that kind of interface. And there's only so much that you could do for a video game with a straight up streaming service. So Warren kind of took it to the next step, and thought of the ways that the interface could work as a video game interface, and obviously made it super fun and extra interesting to look at, and his visual expertise carried on to all the box arts for the various games, and like the parodies and that kind of thing. So big ups to Warren for just a lot of the art and visual stuff. And then Daniel. Jesus. Daniel's the main man who basically took all the genius that Warren laid down as sort of mock-ups and Photoshop templates, and Warren broke all the graphics out, and Daniel coded it all and made it all work and made it all smooth and fluid and easy to work with, and connected buttons so that everything worked well. And yeah, Daniel did all the UI programming and basically did some mini games, even designed a couple of the mini games himself. And Daniel's just an actual madman on the programming front. So Daniel, and then also Yurei. Yurei is the gameplay programmer, and he was basically pivotal in making sure that, well, you could move the character, and that when you did that, everything else kind of reacted to it. So, I mean, if it wasn't for Yurei, there would be zero game to play. So, big ups to Yurei, because yeah, he made a lot of cool stuff, and it was awesome because he was making suggestions on mechanics and suggestions on how things should interplay, and I think he was probably enjoying some of the jokes in terms of like trying to think of something that made Yurei. There was a couple of things that made him especially happy. Like I think when we had like a meeting and he was talking about something that he did, and it's usually anything that involved like just brutally devastating. Like I think things like rolling boulders over like 5 victims in a row was the kind of thing that like Yurei took great pride in making sure it worked really well. And all the like camera transitions to make sure that it like captured all the gory action as everything got destroyed. So yeah, big ups to Yuri on the programming. And Eric, geez, if you guys think that these character designs are cute, well, let me tell you, it's all down to, I think Matt Holmberg was he did a lot of the sketches for especially a lot of the killer designs. We had a few of the character designs like Skullface and the victims and stuff like that. We had sort of a rough idea that I'd worked on with Warren for Slayaway Camp, but Eric took those 2D cartoony concepts and basically made them like super cute, plump, hilarious 3D characters. And actually, to take a second little sidebar, because we do have I think if you go to the Steam page, or if you're watching it on the Steam page, or go to slaywaycamp2.com and then go to the Steam page, we've got an announcement there because we're announcing that we're doing a campaign to get plushies made of Skullface. Because the character design is just so cute, and Eric's modeled version of Skullface is just so plump and awesome and cuddly that let's see if I can actually bring this up here. We need like a super easy URL we can go to. I thought we had an announcement right on the page here. Oh, I think. Oh, actually, yeah. If you go into the discussion forums, we've got a. Here, let me just go. I'll just load up here. Laptop share. Look at this little guy. As if you don't want a plushie like that. So yeah, I think you go here. You could pledge $2 to the campaign, and that basically just like puts your name down as someone who would absolutely love to cuddle Skullface while you try and go to sleep. And yeah, I think the campaign runs until a certain date. I think we've got 7 days left. And if we get to our goal of, I think, 200 supporters, is that right? I think it's 200. Then we make some Skullface plushies. And again, who doesn't want a Skullface plushie? Show me that person. Just show them to me. Right, Jessi? I'm trying to find I'm trying to find my tab of what I was talking about again. The staff. so yeah, Eric.
Thanking all the people.
Eric did an amazing job on the character design. So huge love to Eric. And Shane also. Shane is the animator, and he helped quite a bit with making sure that. He was even to the point of like helping with character designs. I think we've got a killer in the game called Deathicorn that I believe was based 100% from a drawing that his daughter had made for Deathicorn. So basically a super psychotic unicorn that I think has blood drizzling off its horn. And Shane helped, just because Shane is a lot more knowledgeable on like the 3D modeling side of things and was doing all the animations, so kind of knew how things would work. Or if you had like a big spike sticking out of your shoulder, you wouldn't work if you knew that 90% of the animations would have that shoulder like penetrating into the side of your head. So Shane's expertise and sort of understanding of how everything would animate well, and then putting all these like silly kind of super cartoony animations so that it felt more like not so much like a nightmare, but like a Looney Tunes cartoon of this murderer going around murdering campers. And then also Maddie. We got to give a big shout out to Maddie, because actually I'm going to continue that on, because we got Maddie, and then only recently in the past couple months we've also had Brian and Brendan at Blue Wizard, and then also not to mention Wiz as well. So all of those guys have been absolutely pivotal in helping us test the game for both Steam and Steam Deck. So Windows and Steam Deck. So the game is going to be 100% playable on Steam Deck with, everything's legible and plays really nicely with the controller. And we're working on potentially even having some Steam Deck exclusive mini games we're hoping to have something like that as well for when the game comes out. So yeah, big ups to Maddie, Wiz, Brendan, and some other guy. I think his name was, I can't remember. But anyway, I think, big ups to those guys for the testing of the game. That's very appreciative. And Colleen, who's also been helping she's been not helping, but fully freaking crushing the project management and producer side of getting everything sorted, dealing with all the headaches of localization and all the headaches of Steam store page setup and all that kind of stuff. And, just making sure that everyone on the team knows what's going on and everything's trucking along smoothly. So big thanks to her. And I think last but not least, Jason motherfucking Kapalka. If you guys like funny things, you should read what Jason wrote inside the game, because I would write some kind of funny stuff, and then he would be like, "Bro, no, it could be way funnier," and then he would change it to be way funnier. And then he would inspire me to change his stuff to be even funnier. So the two of us were just backspacing each other's work until it was as funny as we could make it. And when I say funny, I mean ridiculously weird. And funny by way of just being absolutely absurd and trying to pay homage to old slasher movies and old horror movies of the 80s, and even just movies in general, action movies, pop culture references, just ridiculous literary fartitry. Is that a word? I don't know. But big ups to Jason. And he also helped us. He also helped us survive on noodles and gasoline. while we were developing the game. This music in the background doesn't really fit the vibe that I was hoping for this part of more like that. What else did I need to talk about? Jessi, did you have any other questions for me or for anyone?
I mean, I got a lot of questions for like other people, but they're not here.
I mean, I can try and
I
could try and answer one, even like a
I got
non.
questions, like for like my doctor, but I think I should go to them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's probably a good.
I got questions about like quantum mechanics.
Oh, let me tell you something. Actually, what's one of your questions about quantum mechanics?
Just pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Can you just explain all of it to me?
Oh, okay. Well, I definitely cannot. I have just as many questions as you. But I gotta tell you, there was a dude on the airplane coming back from Los Angeles to Vancouver, and I think he was kind of annoyed with me at first, because when we first sat down, he was right next to me. He was in the middle seat, his wife was at the window, and I was on the aisle. And when I first sat down next to him, it was kind of a typical thing. Like, you don't I don't know. I don't like to actively engage with people who have to sit next to for the next few hours, for fear that they're like a crazy person and will like want to talk to me about their like how they put Boston cream inside of cactuses for 3 hours. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to have that kind of a conversation, so I'm just gonna like keep to myself. And but he kept like, you know what manspreading is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so he kept like totally manspreading. I think he was trying to power move me by like, because he had the middle seat, and I'm kind of like a husky guy, so I kind of take up a lot of the upper range. But Debbie jokes that my like frame is similar to the guy in Despicable Me. What's his name? Where I've got like whatever his name is, you know what I'm talking about. The gray suit. Yeah, Gru. There you go. Harrison's dropping. So anyway, thick upper frame. So I was probably like muscling in on his turf on the top side. So I think he was trying to pay back the favor by like manspreading and like basically causing me to like push myself into the aisle on the bottom. So I had the assumption that this guy didn't like me at all, that he was like annoyed to be sitting next to me. So I had this like music thing that I'm playing with, and I'm like just fiddling around with it, and then the flight attendant comes and she asks if we want like water or whatever, and she sees it and she's like, oh, my boyfriend has one of those. Or she was like suddenly shocked and surprised to see something like that out in the wild, because she probably sees it at home, and was like, yeah, my boyfriend has one of those. I was like, oh, cool. Is he a musician? And she's like, yeah, he's like a producer and a DJ. I was like, okay, cool. That's cool. Conversation's over, whatever. And then the guy next to me, who was basically like encroaching on my leg territory this entire time, his legs like go in. So now he's like made the decision to like engage with me. And he starts talking to me about like, he's like talking to me about music and like, you know, what it is to be a musician. And at first I'm like still on the brink of like caution, just like I don't want to get into a conversation where I've like opened up to this guy, and now, because this is still only like 20 minutes into the flight. But guess what? He's like the coolest guy ever, and he just starts talking to me about like the root of creativity, and he's like, he's been studying like philosophy and and like basically he's been studying everything. He's like, I wanted to learn so much. I went back to the root of what I think is like the root of what we need to understand, and the root of our physical world, and the knowledge that educated people have got. That's basically like the proof of existence, which is physics. you can't argue against physics and like these mathematical calculations. So as long as I understand that, then I have like a good base for like moving into philosophy and moving into like theology and all these other things. And I'm like, okay, like this dude taught himself physics to like so that he would understand religions better. But anyways,
So does he understand quantum mechanics?
I think he might have.
Did he explain it to you?
He probably, like, he was talking. I mean, I like to think that maybe the conversation was an interesting one, but you have to remember that I was also, I had only slept 2 hours for like
Well, you have to find him.
for like 48 hours. I gave him my email address when I left because he had made a joke at some point. He's like, because I was like in awe of his wisdom, because he wasn't talking like a know-it-all or anything either. Like he was asking questions and he was just like a very knowledgeable man, an older gentleman. And he had joked that his friend had said he should start a YouTube channel because he has so many like interesting things to talk about. And I was like, so I gave him my email address. So if you ever start that YouTube channel, please let me know, because I would I would absolutely watch it, because he was like the smartest, he was like the coolest guy ever. But he totally stopped encroaching on my leg space, and I think he had warmed up, and we had a good conversation by the end of it. So that was a tangent that didn't have to exist, because I think it came near quantum mechanics, but it didn't have anything to do with.
It was quantum mechanic adjacent.
It was definitely quantum mechanic adjacent. Because we started talking about like consciousness and the relationship to artificial intelligence and stuff like that. So not quantum mechanics, but there was one moment that he did mention something relating to quantum mechanics and like multi-dimensional theories and stuff like that. It was like, yeah, I had no idea what he was talking about. And what a great way to end the second stream on the stream trifecta of Slayaway Camp 2. Did I miss anyone in the thanks?
Maddie? Did you thank Maddie?
I think Maddie, and there was Wiz, and I think Harrison, and then there was like some other guy and a couple other guys that I had mentioned, because I'm just so good at mentioning people. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm literally having a panic attack about that whole...
Did you like write a list?
Well, I had to, so that I wouldn't forget anybody. But
did you go through your list?
Oh, I had like a list of like topics that we were gonna cover.
Oh, I meant like
Oh, people. No, that was, yeah.
You should write a list.
Just have a list, and yeah.
And you can just go through it.
Next time. So we're gonna be doing another live stream on Thursday at. Oh, you know what? Oh, I was gonna say we could get lots of sleep and be like, we can be like ready to go, rip roaring, ready to go for the Thursday stream. But it's at 9:00 in the morning, which is like literally not a time I like talking to anybody.
I'm up at 2 a.m., so that's like 4 p.m. for me.
Bro, every day?
Yeah, that's when I start work.
Oh. Okay, so 9 is easy.
Yeah, this is like, it's basically midnight for me right now.
Oh shit. Okay, so yeah, it'll be okay. So maybe you can lead the next one.
I mean, I can try. I know. Like again, like keep your expectations low.
I have zero expectations. I think this was
great.
great.
I also can't see like the videos.
Oh right, yeah, that's true.
That you're doing.
That's true.
So it'll be good.
We'll figure it out. But I mean, I want to thank you for coming on and taking your valuable time to chat with me about this silliness and not silliness. I mean, we spent a good portion of our lives working on Slayaway Camp 2, so it's kind of a big deal, you know.
You're welcome. Again, thank you for paying me to be here. Technically your time. Thanks.
Yeah, no, anytime. I think, how do you think this one went compared to the first one we did?
It started off much more professional, and then it devolved into something else.
Yeah, it just
So I
started
think
like,
that's fine, honestly.
yeah, I think it was good. I think it was better. I think the moment we both realized that it was just like we were both going through the motions and weren't really into doing that anymore, I think that's when it got better, honestly. I think we should just start there next time.
Yeah.
Just
okay,
no
yeah.
professionalism.
Has already seen this part.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys we'll get this up on we'll get these up on YouTube or something, and we can basically have a disclaimer saying if you want something professional. Winter Tom says, I loved listening. Big ups to Winter Tom. Thank you so much. And Blue Wiz, nice work, Nate. You did great. Thank you so much. Harrison's talking about quantum mechanics. Does anyone know enough about it to say it didn't? Oh, that's a good question. No, I fully accept that I was probably completely out of it. I honestly was trying so hard to not fall asleep some of the times that he was talking to me. I was just like, and it was such an in-depth conversation that he was like staring right into my eyes and I was staring right into his, and I was like trying so hard not to just sleep like right in front of him. But anyways, this was good. I think let's chat again later this week. How about?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks so much for everything, Jessi. You're an amazing person, and you have skills to pay bills with.
And again, thank you for paying my bills.
Anytime.
I appreciate that.
Anytime. Thanks for all the viewers who tuned in from either YouTube or Twitch or on the Steam page. And don't forget, you guys, if you don't have it on your wish list, you got to move your mouse cursor to that button and push your left mouse button on it. And then that will add it to your wish list. And I guess without any further rambling on and on to make this last another 25 minutes. Peace out, you guys. Woohoo! Slayaway Camp! Oh, yeah. I know I'm still streaming. I can't find the windows. So many windows. God damn it.